Hello everyone, myself Ashit Desai, Assistant Professor, Mechanical Department. Today we are going to discuss here the basic concept of fluid mechanics. So first of all, we look at the learning objective. So first learning objective is to do introduction to fluid mechanics. Second learning objective is to know a various application of fluid mechanics. Third learning objective is to refresh some basic knowledge of dimension as well as derived units. After this session, some learning outcome is there. So first learning outcome is the student will able to differentiate between solid and fluid. Second learning outcome is the student will able to describe what fluid mechanics is all about. Then third learning outcome is the student will able to handle the dimension as well as derived units. So here these points to be recovered here. So first point is difference between solid and fluid. Second point is what is a fluid. Third point is what is a fluid mechanics. Fourth point is a classification of fluid mechanics. Fifth point is application of fluid mechanics. And then last point is units and dimension. So first of all, we look at the differentiate between a solid and fluid. So as we know that the substance has three phases. So first is solid, second is liquid, and third is gases. So in a liquid and gases, we consider as a fluid. So next point is, so how to differentiate between solid and fluid. So when applying the shear force on a substance, so it can deform. So that time it is called as a fluid. And when you are applying the shear force at the same time, if it is does not deform, that is called as solid. So here one example is there. So we can place a rubber and we are applying the shear force over here. So that time it can does not deform. So that is called as solid. So this rubber is considered as a solid. But instead of that, we can place a liquid or gases. What will happen? We are applying the force, then it can deform easily. So that's why it is called as fluid. So this is regarding the differentiate between this solid and fluid. Now next point is what is fluid and solid in a different way. We can say that. So here the solid can resist the applied shear stress, but in case of fluid it can deforms continuously under the shear stress. The next point we can say that in solid stress is proportional to strain, but in case of fluid stress is proportional to strain rate. So this is the basic difference between fluid and solid. The next point we discuss here, that is the next things regarding the behaving of solid and fluid. So solid have preferred shape because it has closely packed molecules, and in case of fluid it does not prefer any shape because the bonding of the fluid is not preferred. Okay, so this is regarding the fluid. So in a solid basis it is hard and does not deform easily, but in case of fluid it can softer and it can easily deformed. So next difference is the cannot deform continuously under shear force, but can deform continuously under shear force. So this is the basic difference between solid and fluid. The next point we will discuss here regarding the fluid. So actually fluid is containing with liquid or gases. So as we know that in a liquid molecules it can move relative to each other, but the volume remains constant in case of the liquid because of the cohesive bonding. So therefore it can forms a container shape. So it is because of cohesive forces. But in case of gaseous, less cohesive forces or can say less cohesive bonding is there. So that's why it can does not form a shape of container. So it can free in a manner. That is why you can say that it can expand or it can encounter the wall of container and fills the entire available space. So this is related to the gases. So this is basic difference between liquid and gases. Now next we will discuss the differentiate between the all these things, that is solid, liquid and gases. So solid in case of it is in rigid, but in case of liquid it does not rigid, and gases also does not rigid because it is particular bonding will takes place. So bonding in a solid is closely packed, so that's why it is rigid one. But in case of slightly we can say that closely packed, so that's why it is slight rigid, but we can say not residual. Okay, so regarding the same gases, but solid has in your same or can say fixed shape, so liquid is no fixed shapes. So here also no fixed shape. So here in case of solid, fixed volume is there, liquid also fixed volume is there, but gases is no fixed volume is there because the molecules is in always in a random manner. So this is regarding the gases. Another difference we can see that the regular basis it is closely packed, so it is located in the figure. In a cases of liquid, it can irregular and it should be close to the slightly close to the each other. But in case of gases, it can random in nature. So during the movement of molecules, so it can vibrates. That time it can little moments will take place. So in case of molecules, the molecules can be moved around each other. So this is the case difference between liquids and gases. It's quick movement in a random directions. So for example, for solid is rock, so because it is closely bonding. Then liquid example is water, so it is weak bonding is there. And gas is the gas of water vapor, so it is very loose bonding. So this is regarding the differentiate between solid, liquid and gases. The next we'll discuss here the what is mean by fluid mechanics. So first of all we look at the what is mean by fluid. So actually fluid is a substance and continually deforms under applied shear stress. So when you apply the shear stress it can deform easily. So fluid we can consider only liquid and gases. And the mechanics, so first we can define the mechanics. So as you know that mechanics is nothing but it is nothing but behavior of physical bodies when subjected to forces. So this is nothing but mechanics. And regarding the fluid mechanics, we can say that it is a branch of science which deals with the fluid is at rest as well as fluid is at motion and their subsequent efforts of surrounding environment. So this is regarding the fluid mechanics. So in the next lecture, we will discuss the branches of fluid mechanics. So there is a three dividing branches. One is the statics, second is kinematics, third is dynamics. So in statics, the fluid is at rest condition, and then type of study is there that is called as statics. So example is we can calculate the forces on dams. So here we can calculate the hydrostatic forces. So this is regarding the statics. The next, the kinematics is deals with the fluid is in motion, but pressure forces are not considered over here. So this is related with the kinematics. So as I mentioned here, forces and energy causing velocities and accelerations. So this is the regarding the kinematics. The next regarding the dynamics. So it deals with the relation between velocity and acceleration of fluid with forces and energy. So as mentioned that the dynamics is relates with only the fluid is in motion and pressure forces is considered over here, that is called as dynamics. Now next point is the application of fluid mechanics. So why we can study the fluid mechanics? So here we clear that. So first application regarding the fluid mechanics is wind turbine. So while wind turbine designing the wind turbine, we can consider different air forces, and then we can decide the shape of the fluid, that shape of the wings. The next application is regarding the automobile car. So while selecting the streamlines of on can say steam forces or air resistance, we can study it over there over the body, and then we can design the automobile car. And so that time we can decide the aerodynamic shapes. So in olden days, only the cars is in a rectangular shapes, but nowadays the car is having aerodynamic shapes. So these factors we can decide by only while studying the fluid mechanics. The next application is to determine the discharge or can say rate of flow. So how much amount of water is discharged from the one end to another end. So this is a picture of river side, and we have to implement the notches for measuring the rate of flow. So we can identify the rate of flow from this uh, applications. So this is regarding the fluid mechanics application. The next is regarding the diameter of pipe. So when you a long pipe is there, so different losses will be there. So different losses we can measure by the that help we can take from fluid mechanics. Next application is regarding the trains. So nowadays trains are in an aerodynamic shape. So that type of study, so aerodynamic effect of study we can study in a fluid mechanics. So that's why it is important. The next is the air missiles. So missiles we can study. First of all, we decide the different factors regarding the that air particles, or can say all the containing parameters regarding the fluids, and then we can decide the air missile design. Okay. So next point is related with the constructing the dams. So while constructing the dams, we can study the first hydrostatic forces. So this is will be related with the fluid. So because when a fluid is at rest condition, the we are considering the different forces. So these forces we will discuss in a fluid mechanics. So this is the important factor. So while designing the hydrodynamics, hydrodams. Okay. The next is regarding the impeller. This is regarding the impeller. So while considering the impeller design, we can consider the fluid will be enter, so liquid will be enter and liquid will be leaves from this one end to another end. So that time we can entering and exit points will be described, and then we have to formulating the different forces, and then we have to formalize the, or you can say we can design the impellers. So many applications relate with the fluid mechanics. The next point is regarding the units and dimensions. So actually there are two different phenomena. So one is the units. So it units is a measurement used to describe the magnitude and dimensions, magnitude of the dimensions, and it can properties that can have be measured. So it can measure. So if you guys say 20 kilometer per hour, so that kilometer per hour is the units. So it is necessary because not only we can say 20, right? So that's why the unit is important. Then dimensions. So here the dimension can be described qualitatively and assigned numerical values also. So 20 meter per second. So this both we can mention over there. That is nothing but dimensions. Then next, as we know that the system of units, so SI unit is there, then CGS unit is there, then British standard is there. So in SI units, that is systematic, or can say system internationals. CGS means centimeter, gram, and seconds. And then third one is a British standard. So in case of length, in SI units is meter. For CGS, it is centimeter. And for that empirical units for British standard, that is foot. For mass, SI unit is kilogram, CGS for gram, and for British standard, we can consider as a pound or LB. Then time basis, we can take a seconds, CGS units for seconds, and British standard also seconds. Then temperature regarding this for SI unit is we can take as Kelvin. CGS also we can take Kelvin, but in case of British standards, the degree Fahrenheit is there. So mostly we have to focus this on SI units because it is inversely accepted. The next point is regarding the dimensions and units. So the SI units from that, the mass is in terms of kg, length we can measure in terms of meter, time in terms of second. Regarding the temperature, we can mention as a Kelvin. So this is related with the units. The next relate with derived units. So actually basic difference between the units and derived units is the it can contain from base units like length, mass, and time. So that's why it is called as derived units. Suppose example velocity. So velocity is depending on length and time. That's why it is called as a derived units. But in previous case, length is it is own dependent. So that's why it is not called as a derived units. So first of all, we discuss the regarding the velocity. So velocity is depend on length upon time. So we can measure in terms of meter per second. Then second unit for that acceleration. So acceleration is nothing but we know that velocity upon time. So I can write is velocity into 1 upon time. Again, I repeat velocity into 1 upon time. So there is no change in dimensions. So we can write only it can 1 upon time. Then velocity you can write as a length upon time. So as you know that length upon time for velocity into 1 upon time. So after that we can take multiplication, then length is upon time square, so that's why we come meter per second square, so unit is meter per second square. Then next derived unit is force. So actually know the force, that is mass into acceleration. So according to Newton's law of second laws of motion, we know that the force is mass into acceleration, that is m into a. So as you know that acceleration is nothing but velocity upon time. Mass we can take as it is, velocity you can take as it is, into 1 upon time. So 1 upon time you can take separate out, there is no change in the meaning. Then next we can define for velocity, so it is known that velocity is nothing but length upon time, so into 1 upon time, so that equation becomes mass into length upon time square. Is it clear? Then next, as you know that mass in terms of kg, length in terms of meter, and time square, that's why you can take second square. As again I can repeat, for mass purpose SI unit is kg, for length purpose SI unit is meter, for time purpose unit is SI unit is second, so that's why second square, because time square is there. So as you know that kg meter per second square, kg meter per second square, that is called as Newton. So in SI unit we can call it as a kg meter per second square, or can say directly Newton. So this is regarding the force unit. Then next is energy. So as you know that energy is nothing but force into distance. So as you know that force is in terms of Newton and distance in terms of meter. So we can call it as a Newton meter is equal to joule. So in SI unit we can say Newton meter or joule. So joule is the name of scientist. So Newton meter we can say joule. The next point is regarding the power. So power is nothing but work done upon time. So work done is nothing but energy. So unit is Newton meter. We can take as it is, and for time, so that is becomes seconds. Seconds. Okay. So as you know that Newton meter is nothing but joule. So we can say joule per second, or we can say in a SI unit it is watt. So watt is also name of scientist. So here the power we can expressing in terms of Newton meter per second or joule per second or watt. So this is about the power. The next unit is pressure. So pressure is nothing but force upon area. So force is in terms of Newton and area in terms of meter square. So we can take as a unit Newton per meter square. So this is regarding the units. So in this session we have discussed the derived units like velocity is in terms of meter per second, acceleration in terms of meter per second square, force is in terms of Newton, then energy in terms of joule or can say Newton meter, power is in terms of watt, then pressure is in terms of or can say that in terms of Pascal or can say Newton per meter square. So mostly in SI units we can expressing in terms of Newton per meter square. So this is related with the SI units of fluid mechanics. So here we discussed the regarding the derived units as well as base units. So in the next lecture we will discuss the applications as well as the fluid that properties. Thank you.